ready, you're going to bring your hands back underneath you and you're going to press up and back to a child's pose. That could be a bent knee position with your knees wide or your knees together. You can also put a block under your forehead, and you can also tuck your toes if this is more comfortable for your feet. And you can also slide around side to side. Not everyone loves this pose, so you're welcome to be in all fours and just to kind of move around side to side here as well. Now I want you just to kind of move around in your space. That might be kind of swinging your hips side to side. That might be moving back and moving forward. That could be moving your legs around too, or it could be kind of spiraling your movement. So it's kind of just a creative kind of movement on your mat, just kind of exploring the body that you're inhabiting this morning. So noticing, oh, as I move, I'm like, oh, maybe my right shoulder is a little stiff, or maybe I notice my hips feel a little tight. Just kind of noticing as you move what's there. With this sense of curiosity. Taking nice deep breaths, exhaling through your mouth so you can kind of dissipate anything that doesn't feel like it needs to stay. Move your feet, move your wrists. And then as you're ready, we're going to slide onto our back. So as you take your time, if you're still moving around a little bit, and we're going to head onto our backs. And as you get there, you can draw your knees in if that feels good to kind of iron out the low back a bit. So a lot of people, as they lay on their back, will notice that your chin lifts up. If that's the case, grab a blanket if you can and place it at the back of your head so that your neck is long. Really important so we can keep those airways nice and open. So kind of move it around. And then you're going to place both feet flat on the mat. And we're going to take that right knee, we're going to draw it in, and we're going to extend it out. We're going to draw it in, we're going to extend it out. Just a little bit of active mobility. In and out. You're welcome to draw it straight up and alternate. That's not too much for your hamstring. This is without the use of your hands. So just some active mobility. Breathing, letting the shoulders feel anchored to the floor. Then place that right foot down, and we're going to open and close the leg. Do your best to kind of draw the belly down so that you roll to the outer edge of the foot and then back on top. So you're moving the right thigh bone in the socket of your hip, but you're not letting your hips wobble side to side. So use your strong core to do that. Even pressing your hands down flat can help with that. You can go a little slower if you're curious about how the core is working here. Couple more. And then come back to center, and we're going to do some bridge lifts. And we're going to press up, kind of with a core bridge so we're not rolling, and then just tap your low back down. So lift up, and then tap your low back down. And just breathing with this. So when I practice in the morning, I tend to like to do a lot of mobility at the beginning because I'll notice that my body kind of feels tight because I haven't done a lot of movement. 2 more. And then just settle down, feel the difference between your right and left leg, breathe. Then we'll start with the opposite leg. So that knee goes in, and then we press it straight out and it hovers. And you can also alternate for a little hamstring stretch, or you could just keep it going straight in front, just kind of working with flexion in the body. I like to activate my feet. So I'm connecting from my core all the way down into my feet. And it can be fast or slow. It's whatever pace feels right for you. So if you feel like you're moving a little slower today, move slower. Remember, you can bring all of you to the mat, which means that you can bring any inclinations that you have to do things a certain way, to honor if you're not really motivated or if you're really motivated. And that foot goes down flat on the floor after you finish, and we're gonna open that side and then close. And again, using your best core stability to not move the pelvis a whole bunch side to side. And I am rolling to the outer edge of my foot. So I'm totally just turning the thigh in the socket of the hip. A few more of those. Breathing, try not to hold your breath or tighten your tongue. Nice. And then you're gonna place both feet down. This time grab a block if you have it. If you don't, you could squeeze a pillow. You don't actually have to use a block, but I really like this one with a block. So this time we are gonna roll. It's a bridge roll up. So we're gonna lift our hips and take our arms over our head. That's your inhale. On the exhale, lift your heels and roll down vertebra by vertebra with your hands coming down nice and slow. So we inhale, lift. Exhale, lift the heels and roll down as if you're kind of pressing a sticker onto the mat. Feel each vertebra. Nice and slow. And you're using the block to engage your inner thighs. This is as slow as you can make it, really feeling and connecting to every part of your spine. Couple more. Nice. And then you can take the block, place it beside you. And again, you could check in by bringing your knees in if that's a great way for you to check in. And then I'm going to give you two options. One is that you lay on your back and you windshield wiper your legs. And my legs are as wide as the mat. Option two is that you'll come up to a seat and do this. Option three is without hands, you'll do this. This requires a little bit more strengthening. You'll notice that you'll move in your mat when you do it. We're going internal and external rotation. And I notice that I'm walking on my mat. And again, as wide as you can go. Yeah, good. Couple more each side. Yeah, and then just find some stillness. We'll come back on our back. Those of you that came up to a seat, feel that out in your hips and in your core. Then we're gonna take the legs up to a tabletop position. So in tabletop, you don't wanna have your knees so close to your chest. You can see I have a bigger angle here. Try to get to that right angle. So it's gonna activate a little bit more, but you can feel those core muscles activate. And we're gonna exhale, tap. Inhale, bring it in. We'll alternate. Exhale, tap. Inhale, bring it in. So again, I can use my hands. Really use your breath here. So tone your belly as if you're lengthening your tailbone. So you're not pushing or bracing the abs, but more as if you're gonna button and zip your pants. You can try and extend your taps, that you tap a little further away. And just breathing. This is good core stability, so we're waking up the muscles that stabilize your core. So not flexion, just stability. And now you can tap out to the side if you'd like to try that. Again, relax your tongue and your jaw. Sometimes as we do core work, the jaw tends to tense, or we'll press our tongue into the roof of our mouth. So just be gentle with your mouth and your jaw, and even your shoulders, let them press down. We're gonna add some upper body work with that. So as you extend the leg, you can go same or opposite. You can play around with it. And when you go to the side, you might could extend on the diagonal. Keep breathing. A few more. take the legs wide apart, grab onto the tops of your shin or ankles, and just let the heels release towards your groins. And then just breathe here. You can roll your ankles. And then bring the legs up. We're gonna rock and roll ourselves to all fours now. So find that nice strong position of all fours pose, where you can feel your core kind of draw in nice and strong. We're gonna tuck the toes under, and we're just gonna hover the knees for a moment. So kind of finding that plank pose that we found before. And we're just gonna swivel the hips side to side. So getting some rotation. I'm just moving my hips side to side. Doesn't have to be a very big twist. My shoulders are staying stable. You need a break, take a break. And then put the knees down. And then I'm gonna face you. Just sit back and relax your shoulders for a moment. We're gonna do a little shoulder mobility work to wake up the shoulders. So the arms are gonna come out, and I'm gonna let the wrists tip back and the elbows tip forward. A lot of you have done this with me. So my chest does rise. I get a little tip back of the sternum. On the exhale, I'm gonna fold it in and bring my forearms together. So I'm rounding upper back. Inhale, I open. Exhale, I'm kind of tucking in. So I'm bringing ribs to hips. I'm lifting ribs, inhale. So really stretch open your chest. Exhale, stretch the back of your chest, the shoulder blades. Inhale, big breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. For the last four, if you want to inhale and lift up through your hips, and then exhale, sit back, you can. Yeah. And one more. Good. Relax those shoulders, roll them a bit. We're gonna go back to all fours, and I'm gonna show you this in all fours, and then you could also do this in plank or knee plank. So I'll show you all the different variations. We're gonna take your arm forward, the thumb is facing up, and then we're gonna take the back of the hand facing to the top, to the sky. And then we come back up, and then we switch. So the thumb goes up, I rotate at the joint to have the palm face down, the back of my hand face up. Right? I think I'm saying that backwards. You know what I mean? You think you can see me. So we're just going to be alternating. And I want you to really stabilize through your core as we're doing mobility work for the shoulders. Here's an up leveling. You can put your knees down so that I'm in a plank position, but on my knees. It helps me level my hips. So that can be something that you work. Again, this is nice and slow. And if you want to do this in plank, wider stance will give you a little bit more stability, but try not to turn as you rotate, right? Try to keep the hips facing down. So you might start to feel some heat. So again, listen to your body if you need to put your knees down or adjust. Really work your breath here. And just feel as your shoulders are moving through that socket, some kind of ease maybe in your neck or your jaw that you can find. We're going to do two more on each side. Remember, you can be in full plank or stay in all fours. As long as that chest stays lifted. One more. Nice. Then again, you can sit back on your heels, take a break. And again, if you need to be on tucked toes because this hurts your ankles or on a block, you can do that. So now we're going to do a little side bending. So we're going to take our arm out to the side. That's your inhale, and really stretch across your chest. Exhale, press into your hip and lean to the side. And then inhale, open. Exhale. With your breath. One more. And then bring both hands down for a moment. Just relax your shoulders, roll them. Kind of feel the difference between the sides of your waist. And we'll go to the second side. Inhale. Exhale. And again, I'm pressing into my hips to give a little leverage here. Exhale. I'm just letting my head be natural. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Nice. And then just relax, roll the shoulders. Got it. Okay, we're gonna bring it down to all fours again. One more time, we're gonna do a little bit of hip rotation. And so I'm going to take this leg out to the side and I'm gonna internally and externally rotate it. So I'm gonna roll it in, roll it out. And I'm in all fours trying to keep that opposite leg nice and stable. So I'm not turning at the knee, but rather the hip joint. So think about high up your leg where the thigh bone, the femur attaches to the socket of your hip. And it could be a very little movement. So you're turning the thigh to face towards your inner thigh of your standing leg, then you're turning that inner thigh to face up. If this is too much, you can straighten the leg and just turn it here. Sometimes that's a little bit easier to feel. We're gonna do 4 more of these. Again, using your core stability here. Good, and then place that foot down. Take a breather or cat-cow or sit back if you need to. We'll do the second side. So I'm gonna turn so you guys can see a little better. So again, the leg goes out to the side, then I turn and rotate. And you're gonna try your best on the standing side not to lean away from this action, but to actually stay pretty stable like you're in all fours pose. Nice and strong through your core. Your shoulders are broadening and pressing through your hands and you're spreading your fingertips out. Good. Couple more. Nice. And then again, you can tuck your toes. If you like downward facing dog, that might be a good kind of stretch to kind of integrate all this mobility work. You're also welcome to come to child's pose. And so I want you just to take a few breaths here to kind of attune to how your body feels after all that mobility work. Since I find these days just a little bit of movement when I'm starting to notice like anxiety kind of arise or kind of that sense of fear or just that unsettledness, that just moving my body can be a really good way to kind of dissipate some of it. So just notice the effects of that little bit of movement that we did, just moving the joints and all the ways the joints move. Just kind of noticing how that might have affected you. You can lift your heels up and down. Let's get those calves. So we're going to start with some yoga, some more traditional yoga now. Hopefully feeling that your body is a little bit more awake and alive. So when you're ready, step your feet towards the top of your mat, nice and slow. And then as you're there, you can bend and straighten for a moment, shake it out. So I always suggest for people that don't do a lot of yoga, or maybe if folding forward doesn't feel very good, to bend the knees a little bit more and have a more generously wide stance. And then as you're ready, bend those knees and roll up. Let your head, neck, and shoulders be very last. And then roll the shoulders a few times. Then I'm gonna face, you can stay facing wherever you are. We're just gonna let the arms wrap around the body as we twist. Let your arms be really heavy. Let your knees bend a little bit. Yeah, it's rotating. Awesome. And then slowly let it come to a close. And then we're going to step out wide to horse stance. So toes out, heels in. So you might want to use the wide section of your mat unless you're in a surface that's pretty. And I want you to go ahead and slide back down. Then we're going to place our hands at our heart. If you want to, you can place your hands at your heart and your belly. I want you to feel your breath. Moving in, moving out. Slide a little lower. We're gonna do a little round of, I call it the fire breath, and that's like a forceful exhale, quick inhales. I want you to kind of just get some core kind of energy moving through your core. So it's gonna sound like this. As if someone kind of pushed your belly fast. It's not a gripping and release, it's more of like a wave-like motion. So think about pulling your belly up and back and then releasing it really fast. Your mouth is closed, you're doing this with your nose, like you're shooing a fly. So you can touch your body, hands can stay at your heart. We're just gonna do like 20 of these at your own pace. So deep breath in and go. Deep breath in. Stick your tongue out. Do it again. Deep breath in. Stick your tongue out. Straighten your legs for a moment. Take a little break. Then slide right back down. Lift your left heel up. And you're going to take a deep breath. We're going to stretch to the side. And then that left heel comes down, come to the center. If you need to straighten your legs for a moment, do that. Lift your right heel up and over. Side bend. Breathing into that lateral core. And then as you're ready, come back, straighten your legs for another breather. One more breath exercise again, just to kind of clear out some space there. I kind of look at this as if I'm holding on anything. This is a good chance to kind of let my breath just kind of move it out. So come on down. Now you can touch your hands to your shoulders. You can have your hands at your heart or your hands behind your head. So choose a position that doesn't aggravate your traps. Okay, we're going to go to the left. To the right. Now alternate. So inhale. Quicker inhales. Good. Straighten your legs, arms up. Stick your tongue out. One more time. Nice. Straighten your legs and then walk towards the top of your mat. And then just stand there, open arms, and just take a check-in. Again, feeling the effects of this movement. Just noticing how it affects your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, or just your overall sense of how you're experiencing this moment. Okay, so I'm gonna walk to the top so that I have more space. On the inhale breath, we're gonna stretch and reach our arms up. And on the exhale breath, we're gonna bend the knees and fold forward. Long spine, coming to an inhale, stretching away from the hips and broadening the shoulders. And on the exhale, step back to a downward facing dog. So take your time if you need to take a couple steps to get there. Breathing in, breathing out. Allowing those shoulders to broaden and wrap towards the sides of the heart. And letting your collarbones widen as you push away from the mat. So feel that opening across the chest area so you can breathe. A lot of times bent knees will help release any lumbar spine tension. And then as you're ready, you're going to step your right leg forward and wide outside your mat and drop to your left knee. Then I'm going to come to fist, fingertips work or blocks. Notice my heel is down, so you might have to walk your foot further forward for this. Now I want you to kind of move your hips in a circle a little bit. So kind of making a circle clockwise a few times and counterclockwise a few times. And then just settling into some stillness. So sometimes I notice if I'm feeling a little bit more anxious, like staying really still can be hard. And so feel free to move a little bit and let your body do what it wants to do, and then just kind of check out stillness. Because sometimes it's available if we just kind of give it a moment. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. One more cycle of breath. And then you're going to turn a quarter turn to your left for a wide leg forward fold. So my legs are as wide apart as it feels good, and my weight's in the center of my foot, and my legs are straight. My hands can drape or come to the floor. And I want you just to turn your hips and slide them right to left, right to left. So I'm not bending and straightening my legs. I'm actually just rolling my pelvis to one side and then the other. So you might feel a little bit of inner thigh stretch as you do that. And then find some stillness. You can stretch your hands way out front, or you can grab your ankles, doesn't really matter, just feeling a stretch. Take one more deep breath. Then turn towards your right leg, frame your right foot with your hands and put your knee down. And then climb up into a lunge. We're going to put our left hand on our head, and as you're breathing, I want you to feel the crown of your head reach into your hands, but notice that your hands there are also for support of your head. And then let that thigh press down and forward into the earth. So you're lifting up through your core energy, letting the hand kind of caress the head. So we're in Aries solar cycle right now, and Aries rules the adrenals and the head. So this is why sometimes stress is more prevalent. Not to mention a coronavirus, but if that was not alone, we might still kind of feel this adrenal fatigue at times, or just that extra cortisol. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, letting the hips shift forward. Then as you're ready, put your hands down, and we're going to straighten this right leg. And you can kind of come in and out a few times. So pulling the toes back. And again, you might want blocks under your hands if you have them. If not, just walk it back as much as you can. And then maybe you're going to stay on this last one, and you're going to invite in stillness and just kind of see what that stillness is like. And again, if you still feel you need to wiggle a bit, because that would allow your nervous system to not feel quite as amped, then you can wiggle your feet, you can turn your thigh. And then breathing in and breathing out. Lengthening your spine as much as you can, lifting your chest. And as you're ready, you're going to climb forward, and we're going to step into plank pose. So again, knee plank is fine, or all fours is fine. And then take some really extra time to, again, connect that core strength, really important. Then coming forward, tips of your toes. If you want to set your knees down, do that. Chaturanga to your belly. We're going to do 4 moving cobras. You're going to pull the hands back and lift the chest. So my pubic bone's down, and my feet are pressing vigorously down. But my chest is broadening and the shoulders come away from my ears. Then you're going to lower down. Then maybe it's a little bit higher. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. And then 1 more. If you want to hold it longer for this one, you certainly can. Otherwise, press back to all fours or child's pose. And then downward facing dog when you feel ready. I'm going to let you invite in 5 deep breaths here to reconnect to your body. Just always inviting the awareness to be where the body rests. So maybe you scan your body, or maybe you just check into one part of your body that you want to kind of know what's going on. When you're ready, the left leg is going to step wide outside your hands. And again, take the time to adjust so that your front heel is completely down. Again, fist work, blocks work, fingertips. Then we'll do those clockwise and counterclockwise movements with the hips, just how it kind of helps you settle in the pose. And then again, you can invite in stillness and see if that's working for you today. And if it's not, you need to wiggle a little bit more, then just let yourself wiggle. Try to broaden that chest. Then as you're ready, it's gonna be a quarter turn to your right. I'm gonna turn around and face you though so you can see. We're gonna change it up this time. Turn the toes out and the heels in. You're gonna keep your feet flat, but you're gonna bend one knee at a time. So I'm gonna stay pretty low and I'm just gonna swivel side to side. If you'd like to kind of lift one arm up to the thigh and kind of do a little baby twist as you do this, you're welcome to do that. Just moving around, feeling the inner thighs start to wake up a little more. And again, you can move as slow as you want. So if I'm moving too fast, move slower. And then maybe you'll find stillness on one side for a few deep breaths, and then we'll switch. But if you like the movement, vacillating side to side, stay with that. And then switch to the other side. So I'm kind of lengthening through my tailbone a bit, trying to get my spine to be pretty long. And then you're going to take a quarter turn so that you frame that right foot with your hands. Or is it the left foot? I think it might be the left foot because I turned. Yeah. And then you're going to slowly climb your way up. So it should be your left foot. Sorry, I think I turned and then I messed up. So the right hand is going to go to the top of your head and the left hand is kind of guiding your left thigh bone forward. And I'm going to try and lift the crown of my head towards my hand with the strength of my core and my breath. And I'm just kind of feeling that support in my head. Then as you're ready, the hands come down to the floor and we're going to straighten that left foot, but then we might rebend it a bit just to kind of come in and out. Maybe you're pointing and flexing. Then when you feel like you're ready for some stillness and you want to investigate that, again, I can come up to fingertips. Some of you might have blocks or something you can put your hands on. It's okay if you're try not to just hover those. Sometimes that puts a little too much stress. So find something to push down, even if it's just a wall space to hold on to. Try to lengthen through that spine. As you just kind of gently bring that left outer hip back towards the back edge of your mat. Then as you're ready, you're going to rebend. If you need to sweep that leg back, go ahead and sweep that leg back however you need to. Come into plank pose or knee plank or all fours. Breathing here and pausing, and then coming forward, and then you're going to come all the way down to your belly. This time we're going to do some, we're going to do those lifts and lowers like we did in Cobra, but we'll do it in locust pose. So palms face up. You're going to lift your shoulder blades off the mat. You're also going to lift your feet off the mat. So keep pressing the pubic bone down and lift everything at one time. Your neck is long. Lower it down. 3 more. One more. You want to hold for a little extra. You can do that to feel the strength of the back of your body working. And then all the way down. Press back to child's pose, all fours, or a down dog, whatever one works. Okay, taking a deep breath, checking in, feeling that nice stretch across the spine. Step your right leg forward. So I'm going to be a little bit wider apart, so more like I'm in railroad tracks, not a balance beam, and then slowly climbing up to a lunge. I'm going to bind my hands, or actually don't do that. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and lift it up, and then let your head fall into your bicep as you stretch to the right. If balance is an issue here, you can always come down to your knee. So I'm resting my head in my bicep. So again, once again, my head is supported, but I'm feeling that lift out of my left hip socket. So really plug into your right heel for strength. So you can feel that right glute support you. Breathing in, breathing out. Good, slowly coming up and then setting that knee down. So I'm going to show you this from a side profile, then I'll show you facing you. So my hip and my knee are in one line. My knee and my ankle are in one line. So it's not a thigh stretch, this is more stability. So I want you to press through that right heel, drive through that left knee. Now I'm going to turn around and show you what I'm doing with my hands. I'm going to make a fist and place it on my thigh and a flat palm. Fist and a flat palm. Now I'm going to press the two together and lift out of my hips and churn and twist. And I want you to either look down at your foot, but really peel open your chest and heart. So lengthen your tailbone, really use your core work. So this should be a lot more core than some twists might feel like. And by stacking your joints, you have that nice extra stability there. Breathing, try not to hold your breath or grit your jaw. Good, couple more breaths. Then as you're ready, we're gonna look forward. So you're just gonna, you can put your hands on the floor and then step forward and then put your heel of your hands on your eyes. So heel of the hands on the eyes and your elbows are a prop and you're gonna sit back and wrap your fingers around the top of your head. And so allowing yourself with your hands on your eyes to really tune into how you feel in your body. What's your experience like? How can you be completely with yourself right now in this moment? And then release your hands down to the floor, shake it out. And then however you need to walk back, plank. And then I want you to pick your favorite as you come forward, kind of heart opener. It can be that cobra again. It can be locust. You can pull one leg back if you'd like to do a one leg bow, but pick some type of kind of heart opener, thigh stretch, back body work. And just hold for a few breaths. You can get the other side on the next side if you only did one side. When you feel ready, you're going to come to your resting pose, whatever that is, if it's down dog, if it's all fours. And then it's going to be your left leg that's going to step forward and then face a different way, so I can show you. So the right hand comes up, with the left hand I grab it and lift up, then it's a side stretch, and I'm resting my head in my bicep. Getting as much opening through the right side body as I can. But letting my head relax so it doesn't have to do so much work. Slowly coming up, then setting your knee down. And again, you're configuring a right angle from knee to ankle, from hip to knee. Then I'm going to make a fist, flat palm. So my right hand's a fist, my left hand's a flat palm, and I have one line from elbow to elbow. I press the two together and I lift up and out of my hips. Otherwise, I'm kind of shrugged over and I'm heavy. I want you to get long and then rotate your chest towards the sky. And then pull your pubic bone up towards your navel and lengthen your tailbone towards your pubic bone. Think about doing that core work. Soften your eyes. And then as you're ready, hands to the floor, or if you can do this without hands, just step forward. Heel of the hands cover the eye sockets and fingers towards the back of the head and around the face, really cradling your face. So as much as we can touch our head in loving, kind ways to calm that nervous system, even sometimes it calms our thoughts. And as you're ready, releasing the hands down, if you need to shuffle it out. And then as you're ready, stepping back, plank. To drop to knees. And if you want to do the second side, if you did a one-legged pose on your belly, if you didn't do that at all, then I want you to come into cow posture and just hold. So if you're doing the second side because you did a one-legged pose, do that. Otherwise, find me in cow posture. So my collarbones are lifting and spreading forward, and my tailbone's lifting towards the sky. And I'm just holding this, trying to grow as long as I can from tailbone to sternum. Neutralize, and then tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Okay, step your right leg forward for warrior two. So warrior two, the front heel faces the back arch. So I have a pretty wide stance, but front heel and back middle arch is what I'm looking for. So you can go as wide apart as you need. And you're looking for the knee to be towards the middle of your foot. So not towards the big toe, right there smack in the middle. Maybe the knee is over the ankle, but sometimes it doesn't work. We're gonna take the arms out to the side. And then we're gonna bind the hands behind us. So I'm gonna show you this. So like this. So I could have an open heel of the hand and just draw the elbows together. This is where if I had that strap or a towel, which I happen to have one, I could also go here, okay? So I want the shoulders to draw together, but I want them most importantly to draw down, okay? So I've got my warrior two. I'm gonna lift my chest, and then I'm gonna look towards my right thigh and just drop my head. So I'm kind of at an angle. And I keep drawing that towel or my hands away from my shoulders so my neck is free to drop and hang. Keep letting the sides of your neck release and keep that strong core work of belly down, tailbone long. Take another deep breath and then slowly come up. If you need to straighten your leg for a moment, do that. We're gonna grab the side of our head with our right hand. So again, I'm grabbing the temples and I'm gonna lean back. My hand can be at my hip and I'm gonna let my head fall into my hand. Pick your right heel up and let that thigh release forward. So you get a little bit more depth and you can put the heel back down. Good, couple more breaths. And now straighten your right leg. This time you're gonna take your left hand behind your head, and if you look, I'm gonna grab across the back of my head and wrap around towards underneath my ear. Straighten the leg, and I'm going to ease into triangle pose. So I have the same stance as warrior two, but my hips push back and the left hip pivots forward a bit. I can go to my shin and press. And again, I want you to let your head fall back in your hands. And allowing, again, that left side waist to open, your chest to open. Holding on to that head. And now as you're ready, you're going to take your hand to your heart, bend your right knee, and take your hand to the floor or a block if it works. And then lift your left leg, and you're touching your left hand with your heart, the right hand's on the floor. I could also go kneeling and do this. So if you're just like, I don't think that's working, I could come here. And I could do the same thing. So I'm lifting that left heel away from the floor, and I'm letting my hand touch my heart as I lift through the left waist, the left hip, the left ankle. And then one more breath. And then those of you that are balancing, you're just gonna bring the feet together to touch. Those of you kneeling, you can come to all fours because we're all gonna come back into all fours. We'll meet there. And then again, we're gonna lift the chest, so cat pose basically, and then just take a leg back. Maybe you grab it, maybe you don't. You don't have to grab it. But if it works to grab it, I'll grab it with my left hand. And then switch. So find your cow pose. And then just lift the leg up. You can also lasso it with that towel. And then release down. Come to your resting pose. So our final side. So take a really deep breath in, and as you're ready, the left leg steps forward for warrior two. So I'm going to turn around so I can, this is where again that towel might be helpful. So again, the shoulders roll back and down. Really important they roll down. That's why a towel can be helpful, because not all of us can bind the hands and not feel that tug at the elbow. So as you're ready, I'm going to turn my body towards my left thigh, and I'm going to hinge at the hips and go down, kind of level, somewhat level with, parallel with the floor, and then just let my head go. You can go further if you want, just kind of feel it out. Now it's really important that I press through both heels, lean to my tailbone as I pull my belly button back. So I'm really helping myself with my core strength. Try to relax your jaw, keep your breathing steady and strong. And then slowly, as you're ready, come on up. If you need to straighten your leg, please do that. And as you're ready, the left hand goes around and grabs the side of my head, right hand to the hip, and I lean back, so this front knee is still bent. I lean away from my front knee and I let my head fall back. So it's another side stretch. Now, if you want to lift your left heel, that's your front heel, and let your thigh drop a little further, then reset it down. Then as you're ready, slowly coming up, straighten your front leg, your left leg, right hand goes behind your head. So again, I'm still facing sideways, but my right hip is facing somewhat forward. Then I'm going to slide down my thigh, maybe even just a little bit. I'm going to let my head fall back in my hand. And with my right chest, I'm going to open towards my elbow. And then as you're ready, come up just a little bit to place your hand on your heart. Remember, you can kneel, or I can step forward a bit. And as the hand comes to the floor, the leg lifts. And again, I can always kneel and transition this way. Hand at the heart, and again, I can look down or straight ahead. It's basically half moon pose with a little variation. Kind of spiraling up my right waist, my right thigh. And then as you're ready, stepping back. However you like to wind down to, whether that's cat-cow, if you like to vinyasa, if you wanted to come to all fours or just hold in down dog, take about 5 breaths or so to transition through whatever kind of shapes that you like to reset and kind of integrate the last flow that we did, whatever that would look like for you. Really connecting into your breath. And then as you're ready, come back onto your back. And you can grab onto the backs of your knees and bend the knees as if you're in a squat. You can grab your ankles, or you can grab the outer edges of your feet. So see what's available. Then as you're ready, the feet come together, and you're gonna open up the knees. So some people like something underneath their thighs because this is too much. So you're welcome to put a block or pillows underneath your thighs. Hand at heart, hand at belly, either arm. Take 10 deep breaths, breathing into your belly, breathing into your chest, kind of feeling them synchronized as they rise and fall. Putting all of your attention and awareness on your breathing and on your body. Again, you might enjoy that slow, continuous exhaling through your mouth. That can be really nice for stress and anxiety to kind of really let it go out through our nose, our mouth, excuse me. When you're ready, gather your hands to your outer thighs and bring your legs up. And then we'll slowly come into a seat. I'm going to move a little closer to you. So however you'd like to sit, taking your time to move. We'll place a hand at our heart and a hand kind of touching the earth for a moment. So hand on heart, hand touching the earth beneath you. Take a few breaths to feel your own heart rhythm, your own heartbeat. And however you're feeling in this moment, whether this practice eased anything that was uncomfortable, be it a thought, anything emotional, any type of physical, anything that you noticed. Give yourself, again, that warm attention of your compassion and your generosity. And maybe you say to anything that's lingering, Akuma Batata. I'm not going to worry. I'll trust myself. And then feeling at your heart, feel this circle of energy that goes all the way to Alabama and New Orleans and all across Portland. And how amazing it is that despite this difficulty, we can still connect. We can connect through our intention, we can connect through our movement, we can connect through the fact that we're all here together. That's pretty special. Even if you don't even know another person on this class webinar right now, the fact is we're all here together, wanting the same things, probably experiencing a lot of the same things. And so that for me is really comforting. To know there is community out there. We still have ways to connect and we need each other. And so feel that in your heart. And then the hand that's touching the earth, feel what's beneath us, the gifts of the support that we have through our homes, through the food we eat, through the flowers that are blooming, through the sky. Through any of your other kind of gifts that you have right now that hold you up, the practices that we have. Maybe it's your yoga practice, your meditation. Maybe it's your journaling or time that you spend with your spiritual practice. Or maybe it's just being with your loved ones right now. Whatever it is for you that's grounding, supporting, anchoring, lean into that, touch that. This is a wonderful time to remember the healing that's available for us through our own path, through loving ourselves, through letting others love us and take care of us, through offering our gifts to each other, ways in which we can support one another. So feeling in all of that, whatever has been healing for you and continues to be healing for you. I know for me, this slow time of being with my family, taking more time to cook and sleep and take walks together is really healing, despite the scariness of not working. It's really nice to enjoy that. That's healing. And then I'm gonna put both my hands at my heart as I gather with and feel all of you. Thank you so much for the beautiful healing energy that you provide by your presence, by your support. I really hope we'll do this more. I'm gonna offer the same time next week unless I get your poll and it works better for other times, and I'll accommodate that.
So I just love this time we have together, and I thank you all for the part that you play in my life and the joy that you give me and being my community. And I want to offer myself and my gifts to you in gratitude. The light in me honors the light in you, friends. Namaste.